Rather than admit when they make a mistake, Apple have become arrogant. When they inflict poor design choices on us, they then try and gaslight us into believing they are right. Apple may do some amazing things, but to keep doing amazing things, technicians and engineers know that we have to keep learning and growing from our mistakes. This is my experience of that time Apple caused suffering to myself and others. I really enjoy going deep into the how and why things work the way they do. I explore the technologies that fascinate me, and I love sharing these experiences with others. That's the main reason I started this channel. Recently I've been wondering, why have I never done an Apple-related video? Apple invented the first personal computer. They brought out the mouse and graphical user interface to the world, and that was just the beginning of their achievements. Yet when I think about making an Apple-related video, something stops me. I feel something like distaste and apathy. I began wondering if there was something wrong with me. I use Apple products, so why can't I talk about them? Apple was founded on the idea that technology can be extremely powerful for the individual. The more you understand how technology can work for you, the more amazing things you can do. Apple co-founders Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs' first product that they made and sold was a blue box, a handheld device that could emit certain tones. When held up to a phone, certain sequences of tones could control the world's telephone exchanges. This was called phone phreaking. It was illegal, and most people didn't even know it was possible. Steve Jobs said, "Experiences like that taught us the power of ideas, the power of understanding, that if you could build this box, you could control hundreds of billions of dollars around the world. That's a powerful thing. If we wouldn't have made blue boxes, there would have been no Apple." These sort of ideas are the reason I became interested in technology in the first place. The ability to do extraordinary things simply by understanding how to use technology. Ideas like this remain part of my core values to this day. It's one of the main things this channel is fundamentally about. I want to tell you a story about the time when Apple turned away from these sort of fundamental values. In 2007, Apple released the first iPhone to the world. It was a stunning achievement, and I was mesmerized. Here was an entirely new interface. A technology as groundbreaking as the first personal computer and mouse interface. Apple had made a touchscreen that worked with your finger, and not just one, but multiple fingers. Suddenly we could touch, scroll, pinch, and zoom. This felt as natural and easy as using your own hand, which made it ideal for handheld use, such as a phone. I was enthralled. This is what I was waiting for, ever since Palm OS devices had lost their way in the 2000s. I knew I had to get one as soon as possible. However, the new iPhone was only available in the United States. Even if I could afford to import one, there was no guarantee it would work on local networks. Then just a few months later, Apple released a new iPod. The iPod Touch was everything but the ability to phone, and it was available locally. I quickly found one for sale, $400 second-hand. I had my first iOS device in hand. I avidly learned everything I could about this new technology. Third-party tools were developed that expanded its functionality. Very soon I had made my first app, a simple Hello World program. The next few years were heaps of fun. The iPhone 3G and 3GS, then the 4 and 4S. During this time, Android OS caught up, and there was a wide range of interesting devices available. Then after Steve Jobs died, Apple continued with the iPhone 5 and 5S. Then something changed. Larger screens had become popular, and Apple released the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus to critical acclaim. But there was a dark side. If your new iPhone 6's home button was damaged and you had it fixed, the phone would soon become unusable. You wouldn't be able to turn your phone on anymore. It became a brick. Anything you hadn't backed up was now lost. This became known as Error 53, the error that appeared if you tried to restore your Apple-bricked iPhone back to life. I was shocked with Apple's response to all this. They started saying, "We've done this for you, for your security, to protect your personal information." I knew they were lying. It was obvious. If this was about protecting our information, Why could the home button be repaired and the phone would still work for a while, with all our personal information still fully accessible for a time? When Apple finally did brick your iPhone and you lost access to all your personal information, why, after you restored and wiped your own iPhone back to a blank state, would it still not turn on? If there's no information on there left to protect, why is your iPhone still a brick? I was devastated. Apple were now lying to the whole world. This wasn't about our security. This was about their control over us. I felt like this was punishment for having our home buttons fixed independently of Apple. Apple's official policy at the time? If your home button or fingerprint reader breaks, then your only option is to buy a replacement iPhone from us. If you get the home button fixed, we will brick your iPhone. It gets worse. Apple Store employees started telling iPhone owners this was all their fault. I became terrified of helping anyone with an iPhone. If something went wrong and it wasn't my fault, Apple were making sure I would get all the blame for their wrongdoing. Apple were pretending to be a saint while being a monster. They were causing untold suffering around the world, and they knew it. Thanks to the tireless work of independent technicians and engineers exposing Apple's vile behaviour, Apple eventually decided to stop bricking people's iPhones. However, this doesn't mean they have completely stopped acting in these ways. Thanks to people such as Hugh Jeffreys leading the way in exposing Apple, documenting their efforts to control us and prevent us from choosing for ourselves how and where we get repairs done, as these companies still try everything they can to control our decisions. Hugh is showing how other companies are following Apple down this path. Companies know they can't use the blunt weapon of bricking our phones anymore, but they are still trying everything they legally can to manipulate and control our decisions. This situation is not going to last. I just watched a recent video from Louis Rossmann, another technician bringing the fight directly to Apple's door. In this video, he talks about new and upcoming engineers that he meets, many of them inspired by himself and others that oppose the way Apple has been treating people. The next generation are not going to allow this to continue. They are starting new businesses and companies with the values of empowering people again through technology. They are again going to make the world a better place. In thinking back to that time when Apple betrayed some of our most important values, I realized what was stopping me from making videos about Apple devices. I had to tell this story first. I had to stand up and join the fight.
Look, about to motivate, make the stakes higher, taking what's ours, time to pay piper. With a squadron that'll swim across a lake of fire, just to add another brick to the empire. No outsiders, keep the love tribal, spread them like virus, about to go primal. Fans shaking up the stands when they go wild. Execution is the plan, we don't hold trials. Apply the kind of pressure that could blow spinals, so when we finish with them better check vitals. We gon' push it to a level where it's no rivals. We don't take L's, we just take titles. No days off, ain't no kind of breaks. Till we on top, ain't no time to waste. Yeah, we need it right away, we ain't trying to wait. Anybody try to violate, we annihilate. Time to show 'em we ain't playing from the gate. Dominate, by some